Okay, guys, doing a video here to go over like 4F and some of the last couple problems on 4F part 2 because I could tell that there was a little bit of difficulty in my earlier classes today. So let's start from the top. So with difference of cubes, if we have two cube terms being subtracted from each other, a cubed minus b cubed, it's going to factor to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. We'll put numbers to this in a minute. I know we did some of these in class, but for people who've been absent or need a little extra practice, this can sort of maybe benefit us a little bit. All right, the sum of cubes, a cubed plus b cubed, it's going to factor to a plus b. And then the subtraction sign is going to go to the second spot. So we'll have a squared minus ab plus b squared. As we're going through this thing, guys, we realize that we have two terms. We have an A term and a B term. So we have a cubed and b cubed and all these things. And so when we factor these out, what we're going to do is we need to find what our A is and what our B is. So we need to find the A and the B, given that we have a cubed and b cubed. So how we're going to do that is this. We have our table that we have on the 5th page. And so we see all of our cubed numbers right here. Okay, all of our cube numbers in the 3rd column right there. And so hopefully that gives us kind of a quick reference to do this. So let's start back with the x cubed minus 27. X cubed minus 27. Well, what is 27? Well, 27 is really 3 cubed. Okay, so 27 is really 3 cubed. So the x cubed minus 27 is really equal to x cubed minus 3 cubed. Okay, it's x cubed minus 3 cubed. So again, we put into our difference of cubes formula, and our two terms, I should say, our a and our b term, which we have to have, are going to be x and 3. Okay, because x is being cubed, 3 is being cubed, so x and 3 are our two terms. So x minus 3 is going to be the first term. And then we have x squared plus 3x plus 3 squared, which is 9, is our second term right there. Okay, so really our a term is going to be x, and our b term is going to be 3. We're subtracting, and so then we plug it into the subtraction or the difference of cubes formula. If we're looking at the one to the right of this, so we have 125 minus x cubed. All right, so what is 125? Again, if we were to go down to our table right here, we would see that 125 is really equal to 5 cubed. So when we come to this one, the 125 minus x cubed is really 5 cubed minus x cubed. It's really 5 cubed minus x cubed. So our a term is equal to 5. Our b term is equal to x. All right, so again, difference of cubes, so we're going to have 5 minus x times 5 squared, which is 25, 5 squared, plus 5x, and then plus x squared. So we're working these little things backwards, ladies and gentlemen, to find the a and the b. Okay, to find the a and the b. And it's really not too much more challenging than that, and we can always baby step these things as we factor out. Just give me one moment. Sorry about that. So we're back here. Let's look at 15, 16. We'll look at maybe one or two more of these on this, and then we'll go to F part 2. I know we did some of these in class, but let's just break these down just to simplify these things a little bit more. Okay, so next one we have 8a cubed plus 125. Okay, 8a cubed plus 125. What we can do, again, the 125, we could change that to a cube number, and 8 we could change to a cube number. All right, 125 is really 5 cubed, and 8 is really 2 cubed. So what that really, the 8a cubed is really what it is this. 8 is 2 cubed. So we have 2 cubed a cubed plus 5 cubed. Okay, so the 8a cubed is really breaks down to this, which breaks down even further as 2a cubed plus 5 cubed. All right, so what happens is since we have 2 cubed and a cubed, we could put the 2a in a parentheses and just cube them both and be done with it. All right, so now our a term is 2a and our b term is 5. And now we have the addition one, so we're going to have 2a plus 5 in the first one. And then we're going to have 2a squared minus 2a times 5 plus 5 squared. Simplifying to 2a plus 5, the 2a squared becomes 4a squared because we square the 2, we square the 4. 2a times 5 is 10a, and then 5 squared is 25. All right. So that's sort of the whole ball game with difference of cubes. Okay, we'll take our terms and rewrite them as cubes to make them look a little bit easier, and then that way, whatever the thing is that is being cubed is our a and our b. All right. So let's look at numbers 19 and maybe 19 and 18 down here, and then I'll go to the next thing. All right. So if we're looking at number 18, sorry, trying to make this thing a little bit bigger here. So we have 648 x cubed plus 3y cubed. All right. First thing we got to do is we got to notice that we see 648 and we see 3. And when we go down to our table that we had on this last page here, we're not going to see any 648s or any 3s in these two things right here. Okay. Which means we're going to have to find the greatest common factor. Okay. The greatest common factor of 648 and 3. We can guess and check. Okay, or we can maybe even Google it. Greatest common factor of 648 and 3. Let's see what it comes up with here. Everyday calculation. The greatest common factor of 3 is 648, and 3 and 648 is 3. So let's factor out a 3 here. So coming back to this thing here, we have the 648x cubed plus 3y cubed. So first thing we'll do is factor out a 3. Zoom out just a little bit. Ugh. So we're going to factor out a 3. And so we factor out a 3 here. We're left with 216x cubed plus 1y cubed. All right, so we have 216x cubed plus 1y cubed. Next step, 216 is really 6 cubed. So we can replace the 216. We take the 216 out and just call it 6 cubed. That's what it is. It's 6 cubed. So we have 6 cubed x cubed plus 1y cubed. Next step, the 6 cubed x cubed, we could just rewrite it as 6x cubed plus 1y cubed there, all with a 3 on the outside. So now this is written in kind of a way where we have our 2 cubes that we're adding. Our 2 cubes, 6x and 1y. So 6x is our A term, 1y is our B term. So what this ends up looking like is we're going to have 3 on the outside. We have A plus B, so 6x plus 1y, or 6x plus y. And then we have our 6x, our A term, 6x squared plus 6x times y, which is 6xy. And then plus y squared. And this should be a minus sign in front of the 6xy rather than a plus. Because that's the sum formula right there. Again, last step is to simplify it down. So we have 3 times 6x plus y. And then 6x squared is 36x squared minus 6xy plus y squared there. And this here is going to be your final answer. 3 times 6x plus y plus 36x squared minus 6xy plus y squared. Pause the video if you need to right now. I'm going to scroll back up for 1 second. All right. So I'm hoping, guys, that maybe this helps us see the steps a little bit clearer. So the first thing is we factored out our 3, which is our greatest common factor. All right. So that was our first step. We factored out our greatest common factor. Next, we found 216, and we just rewrote it as a cube. Okay. It's 6 cubed. Okay, we just rewrote it as a cube. We sort of put our cubes together here if we have to with the 6 cubed and the x cubed to make 6x cubed. And so now what we have is the equation really is 6x cubed plus 1y cubed. So 6x is our A value and 1y is our B value. We took our A value and our B value and plugged it right back into our sum of cubes formula. And I don't mind you guys Googling the greatest common factor. Really not a problem with that. I mean, that's something y'all should have learned in middle school. But again, it's something that, we don't need to sort of beat to death right now. I don't mind y'all sort of Googling that. So let's go to F part 2. We'll look at one or two of these, and then we'll call it a day. And you guys can try to do the rest. All right, so on to 4F part 2. Let us do... Let's do this 80y cubed z minus 500y z a to the 8th power right there. And then we'll do the 750 and the 384 below it. And that'll be it. And so hopefully you guys can all sort of catch yourselves up. So again, step 1, we got to take the greatest common factor out. Take out the greatest common factor. So we have 80 and 500 right here. Okay, 80 and 500. So if we want to find the greatest common factor of 80 and 5 numbers here, or 80 and 500, let's just Google it. The greatest common factor of 80 and 500. So the greatest common factor of 580 is 20. This everyday calculation seems to be kind of a pretty cool website right there. So the greatest common factor of 580 is 20. All right, so we'll pull out a 20. And let's also look at letters here. So we have y cubed here, and we have a y there, so we can take a y out. We have a z here and a z there, so we can factor out the z as well. And let's look at what we're left with. So factor 20 out of 80, that's 4. Y cubed divided by y is y squared. Z's are gone. 500 divided by 20 is 25. The y is gone, the z is gone, we have a to the 8th there. So we have 4y squared minus 25a to the 8th power. This one, we should see that we have a difference of squares, kind of like our warm-up that we had on Thursday. We have a difference of squares. So 4y squared is really 2 squared y squared. And then 25 a to the 8th is really 5 squared a to the 8th. If we want to sort of get down to it and break it down like that. So to bring it down a little bit further, we're going to have 2y parentheses squared minus 5a to the 4th squared. Okay, because we have 5 squared, which is 25. And then a to the 8th is really a to the 4th squared. We can sort of rewrite it like that. Okay, so our a term, I know I'm kind of running out of room. Our a term is 2y, and our b term is 5a to the 4th. And we have a difference of squares. Okay, we have a difference of squares. The difference of squares formula, if you go back to the 4F notes, is a plus b times a minus b. Okay, a plus b times a minus b. So we're going to have our 20yz on the outside because we still pulled that out. This parenthesis right here, 2y squared minus 5a 4th squared, becomes 2y plus 5a to the 4th. And then we're going to have 2y minus 5a to the 4th. Because it's the difference of squares, and we're going to use the difference of squares formula there. So if you're not really into the whole square rooting or cube rooting thing, we don't have to be. Really not that big of a deal. We could just rewrite our numbers as squares. So instead of having 4, for instance, we could just rewrite it as 2 squared. Instead of 25, we could rewrite it as 5 squared. Okay? And then we can sort of rearrange the squares that way, and that way we don't have to worry about square rooting or all that other kind of stuff. And really with the table that we have on the backside of 4F, we should be okay and be able to access those numbers quickly and to rewrite them quickly as squares. That way it's easy to find our A and our B. Because really that's what this whole thing is about when we do these formulas here, is that, difference of cubes and sum of cubes and, the difference of squares formula, all of them have our one term and the other term. We just call them A and B. So the whole point of doing all these things, guys, is factoring out and then finding our A and our B and plug them into the right formula. Pause the video if you need to. Go back and rewatch it if you need to. We're going to do this bottom left-hand one, and then that'll be it for these notes. So hopefully we can kind of help get ourselves caught up a little bit. And if we need a little bit more time, I'm more than happy to take a little time in class to do so. But hopefully this video kind of helps us out a little bit. All right, so last one, we have 750 x to the 4th minus 384th a to the 9th x. So let's find the greatest common factor of 750 and 384. So the greatest common factor of 750 and 384. So the greatest common factor of 384 and 750 is 6. Okay. So first step is we want to take our greatest common factor out. So we'll take 6 out. Any letters that we could take out? Well, sure. We have x to the 4th and x here, so we could take an x out. So if we divide 6 from 750, we get 125. Then we have x cubed. Take 6 out from 384. We get 64. And then we have a to the 9th. Okay. Next step, let's rewrite these and see if we have squares or cubes. Well, 64 is tricky because 64 could be a square or a cube, but 125 is only a cube. All right. So hopefully we kind of can catch on to that. So we're going to have 6x, and then we can rewrite the 125 as 5 cubed. So we have 5 cubed x cubed. We can rewrite the 64 as 4 cubed. So we have 4 cubed a to the 9th, kind of like that. Again, all I've done is taken 125, rewrite it as a cube, taken 64, rewrite it as a cube. Consolidate this down a little bit. 5 cubed x cubed is really just 5x cubed. 4 cubed a to the 9th is really going to be 4a cubed cubed. Because sort of as a side note here, a to the 9th power is just a cubed again. Going from our 4a and 4b exponent rules. All right, so the hard work is over. The hard work is over. We have our a value, which is 5x. We have our b value, which is 4a cubed. So we have our a, we have our b. Let's plug those in. Now this is a difference of cubes. Okay, this is a difference of cubes. So the difference of cubes formula, a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so we go to plug this bad boy in. We still have 6x on the outside. Our a term is 5x, our b term is 4a cubed, so we're going to have 5x minus 4a cubed in our first parenthesis right there. Our next parenthesis, we're going to have 5x squared. 5x squared, which is really just going to be 25x squared once we square the 5 and square the x. Then we got to multiply our a and our b terms, so 5x and 4a cubed, which is going to be 20a cubed x. 5 times 4 is 20, a cubed, and then x. And lastly, we're going to have b squared. So 4a cubed squared is going to be 16a to the sixth. All right, so that's a difference of cubes formula. So hopefully, I'm sorry if I maybe rushed through this a little bit. I know we missed a lot of people in class the last couple of days. Hopefully this kind of settles it down a little bit. We kind of take a deep breath. We kind of go through the steps, go through the process a little bit more. And hopefully these kind of just help slow it down and slow your roll a little bit. And so if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, I have no problem with y'all Googling the greatest common factor to factor those things out for now. And that's all I have. If there's any questions you have, please don't hesitate to email me over the weekend, and I can try to help you out as best as I can. And y'all take care. Have a good day.